Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's been a while since I streamed last. I'm a very inconsistent, very part-time streamer. What is this, like the second time maybe that I've streamed this year? Anyway, better late than never, I guess. Hope everyone's doing well in their time zone. It's a Friday here at the moment and I'm just chilling. I've got a bit of a drink and I'm looking forward to enjoying some Star Trek Resurgence. This is a story-based game, so you make some choices along the way, I believe. I've seen and heard good things about it, so I'm wanting to have a bit of a first playthrough myself and see how we go. So yeah. Got my Star Trek t-shirt on as well. Nice already. I'm on theme. And my actual stream redesign actually has got some Star Trek elements as well, so I think we're all set. It's nice and fitting to have that all set up. So yeah, let's jump into it because I'm keen. All right. What was that? Spotify? Alright. Got the trusty controller, because apparently this is a better experience on controller, so it's a little bit different for me. More keyboard and mouse myself, but we'll give it a go. Dramatic laugh. Shuttlecraft. That's an interesting shuttlecraft. Like the old school.
Crew is restless.
But mixed with the Type 2.
Finally about to venture out.
If anybody doesn't know, I am a bit of a Star Trek nerd. So I'll be trying to identify a lot of things.
Unprecedented ion storm slow them down.
Always an ion storm.
They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them.
Bull Chica, how's it going, man? Do you even Star Trek, bro? I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's entropy.
Do I even Star Trek, bro? Like, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. What have you been up to?
In this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the
Yeah, doing quite well. Been pretty busy with work and just mucking around gaming offline. But felt like starting this game and I thought it was a good chance to maybe get back in and do a bit of a story game. Really enjoyed playing Stray last on stream, and this felt like a good opportunity just to muck around and try something. Oh, quick time event. Okay.
Thanks. No problem.
Is this us?
I'm not great with flying.
Let me know how the volume is too,
Little
man.
Shuttles are the worst, but
He's not into flying, but yet you enjoy it. And yet you join Starfleet. Don't close your eyes. I've seen worse. Yeah, I want to ask, did you join
You
Starfleet?
don't like flying. And yet, you joined Starfleet.
there's a reason I'm not a pilot.
You should try it sometime.
Game volume is a little low. Okay, cool. Let's do a quick alt tab. Let's put it there. Might have to adjust it in game too. Let's have a look. And master volume is high. Let's have a look at my mixer settings. Just there, you know, restarting streaming things. No, that's looking about good. Let's see if we turn up system volume. Let's have a look at. There you go. I don't want to exit. Resume. All right. Let me know if that's a bit louder, man.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
Now it's too much. Okay.
Won't be easy for
I'll pull it
Jara
down
to
in
step
OBS.
11th hour like this.
Alright, that's a little bit
She's half the
low.
officer I knew
We're
she
getting
could
closer?
become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy. She'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Oh, starbase. Dig, thanks, man. Oh, we got a Excelsior class, the backbone of the Federation right there, the USS Centennial. Don't recognize the starbase, but maybe that's Nova class, maybe? We made it in one piece in a shuttle. It's not a typical Star Trek episode then. WASD to move. I'm using my controller. Starbase 128.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Yeah, haven't heard of that one before.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5.
Okay.
Anyway,
Kobayashi.
I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class.
Top 20?
I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy.
Only the top
So,
20.
There's that.
Very impressive, or will be nice. Very impressive.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
He's lying. He's bragging too much.
Just place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds.
Log in.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to
You
meet
had to brag, didn't you, mate?
Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid
Now you
ground,
know. I think so.
so to speak.
Well, now you know. Keep your eyes and ears open and you might pick up on things.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
He's embarrassed now. Hang on, I'm just going to bring up my Twitch activity on the other screen. Alright, find Commander Ermot. Is this my max walking speed? Hello? Not bad, I guess.
Good day, Commander.
Good day. Hello? Hello? Good day. I love it when you can muck around with NPCs. Alright, what's this? You reckon that's our ship? Repair in... Yeah, US Resolute. Repair in progress. I don't recognize that class. That might be, this game. Kind of... fictional. Starbase? Alright. Commander Ermot?
If I remember my briefing, Commander Ermont is a Bolian, so I'm
Bolian.
looking for someone with blue skin.
Ah, there he is in the corner. He interacts with other people.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here.
Don't
The
think it's
Resolute
gonna
is leaving from this dock.
move off without the commander.
Ah, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me.
Yeah, I think it is mainly decision based. But I think there's maybe a few different paths, different endings.
Thanks so much, Commander.
How did he graduate Starfleet without knowing how to read a map? I'll take anybody from the academy these days.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
Wow, interesting information. Alright, we're finding a Bolian. I'll leave this dude
Excuse
over
me.
here.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermont, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander,
Righto.
I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know
bit bumpy.
conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It was a bit bumpy, but otherwise okay.
My apologies. This storm is unlike anything I've seen before.
Yeah, mate, you control
We're
the storm.
grateful you were able to
Apologize
come
for it.
fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all.
Yeah, mid
To our
flattery.
research vessel.
What have you heard? Let's learn a bit more about her.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework.
Like I said, we're very lucky.
It's like old school
The USS Resolute.
a little bit.
She may not look
Looks
like
like
much
an
compared to the
Excelsior
bigger
dish.
ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months
Like
ago
a
she
bomb.
was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her
Dominion
life.
War. Crazy.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew.
22
At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other.
for a warp test.
That's what it means to be a crew.
Sorry for your loss.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yeah, Couch is right.
It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
Sounds like he lost somebody close, so yeah, let's do that one.
Did you lose anyone close to you?
Too many. And to that, I'll just say, you have big shoes to fill.
No
Listen.
pressure.
I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly first,
I need to get over that.
until they
I
come
can
to
earn their
value your
trust.
contributions as much
Thanks
as
for
he
the
does.
heads up. We're gonna try and earn that trust for sure.
Trust is earned, and it sounds like I have my work cut out for me. But I plan on winning them over.
I don't doubt that. I just figured it was better to know what you're walking into.
What I kind of like
Of
about these
course.
games is, on my second
Starfleet has
playthrough,
assigned
I would
us a
play
high-priority mission
exactly
in
the
Voltari
opposite
region.
what I'd
I'll let
play
the
now,
captain
just to
brief
see
you
what
on board.
happens.
I know he's eager
I
to
love
see
doing
you.
that.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Wonder how much of these actual initial interactions actually matter towards the story. No, we gotta have a quick time of it. Probably not too much. I'd say like it's probably leading us through the
just
start.
the thing.
Find the plasma torch. This? Yeah. Clear the corrosion. Oh damn. Alright. Oh, what do we... Oh yeah, we have to... Got a bit of feedback, so it's like a slide off the middle. Alright, so... What if they put us to work? Repairing a shuttle? Damn, that's some corrosion. Nice. Black new. Right stick. Rotate. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I can see why they recommended a controller now. Don't see people doing that with their mouse.
That is that.
You rod a plutonium in there. This baby's gonna do 1.21 gigawatts now. Oh, Dex. Hell yeah.
I thought the thing was totally fried.
Yeah, Trill. Hello.
Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
Okay.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
You're just jumping off a moving elevator on top of a shuttlecraft? Yeah, that's... No worries. Alright, they've got thermal regenerators and, you know, healing fields and whatever. Alright, where are we going? Ooh. Added walls. Probably good when the ship's under attack and you get thrown against a bulkhead. Nice and padded. I wish the walking speed was slightly faster. It's not too bad, but it's just like...
Engineering.
You can
I heard the new XO
walk
just
with a little
arrived.
speed.
Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for is something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You're not up for it?
What's the matter, Neely? Afraid of a little hard work?
A little hard work? Really? A little? 6 months of putting this ship back together is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and here we are.
There we
Just
go.
about ready to go.
I think this is the second character that we play. We jump back and forth between the two.
Looks
We've
like
got the
we got here
commander, and
before.
we've got
Lieutenant
one
Commander
of
Chovak.
the lower decks crewmen.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Yeah, look at that warp core.
Petty officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late.
The warp 8.
We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edzelar on repeated occasions.
We're irreplaceable? He's Vulcan, he's not
So you're
gonna like
saying
that
we're
though, I don't
irreplaceable,
think.
Commander?
That is one interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could.
Damn.
You can interpret as you see fit.
Yeah, he didn't
No,
like
I
that.
don't suppose you wanted us
Red.
down here to check in before we go off duty?
I don't mind antagonizing a Vulcan though.
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. A This ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood, but many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
You sound worried.
How concerned should we be about the storm? Are you worried?
Vulcans do not worry.
I knew he was
We
going to say
calculate
that.
the variables and take appropriate precautions to mitigate the risk. Right now, that entails making critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes, Commander
Roger that.
Chovak. All hands on deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
That's on us.
It all comes down to us, Nilly. We're the ones who will get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old
There's the
remodel.
instant again.
Whoa.
Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
Yeah, give him a chance.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Group hug.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
Don't insult my ship.
Don't talk badly about one of the best ships in all of Starfleet.
We've rebuilt enough of her by now. She better be one of the best.
We'll see about that. But I am glad to be here. He still owes me a bottle of Saurian
I
brandy.
actually liked it.
Don't
Liked
think
the
I
banter.
forgot.
Good.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Yeah, that simple spacewalk. Do a simple calibration. Get an ion store.
Here, let me help
Sounds
you.
easy.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
Yeah, nothing at all.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Why do starships have things that you have to calibrate on the outside of the ship too? That seems a little bit counterproductive. Let's go. Yeah, safe. That'd be a
Have
cool
you
view
never
there.
gets old.
What they
go.
said, yep. Transition. That's a good transition back to the next character.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Yeah, let's make some tea. Earl Grey, hot. Oh, we can snoop.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered. Always was the nostalgic type.
Nostalgic over a mineral, okay. Oh, good view.
We'll be out there soon. Going where no one has gone before.
They said the thing. Well, let's see what we can make ourselves.
Just a sip of something.
Ractigino tea. Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Decisions. Tea.
Ah, didn't say it.
That's lovely.
What? One sip.
Jara Rydek.
And just put it back.
Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute.
Captain Mustache.
The regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship
I'd hope for more.
deserves a bit of fanfare. But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full with the refit.
This is enough for me.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
I assume you mean the accident.
That's right. The tragic accident, really. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career? Right there, within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
We have to move on. The crew need the risks, I guess.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit
Politics
to the
in
mission.
Star Trek?
Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
I guess you can rely on me.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details at the rendezvous.
Who is the diplomat?
Who is the senior diplomat we're escorting?
That I don't know. Starfleet hasn't said. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify.
We can leave him behind.
The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your
Just leave him in the iron
What
storm.
is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
Got it.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Captain liked that interaction. Ooh. Bridge. Yeah. Like a mix of a few different Star Trek bridges. But elements of the Enterprise D, just
Everyone,
like a tactical there.
If I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility,
Bajoran?
he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time. And I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
It's like you've heard of me? Out of all of Starfleet?
You've heard of me?
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad. Because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves. And you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
Okay, that's very flattering.
I don't know what to say. That's incredibly flattering, thank you.
I hope someday I can follow in your footsteps.
I'm sure you will.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase, Have an urgent meeting with the Starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Oh, command straight away. Did in the captain's chair already. Let's have a look. We talk to people. Yeah.
Operations, staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont.
Seems like a good fit. The console looks a little bit tall for you.
Tactical station. Hopefully, a diplomatic mission won't require
Gonna be like
use our
jumping up,
weapons
trying to
much.
fire
If it
phasers.
comes to that, we'll be ready.
We got over here. Unnamed crewman.
Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later. The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers. Can't wait to see what she can do.
I had that one. Let's have a suit.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural
Captain
integrity
Shit.
field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm.
Well, that's our other character.
We just need your go-ahead.
Just wait. Yeah, you can have permission.
granted.
Lowering structural integrity field. Now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
You see much Star Trek yourself, Bog Chica?
Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I
Hell
pictured
yeah.
it.
Dude,
On
first
the
time was
outside of
awesome.
the ship?
No.
Started off a little bit like
Sometimes it feels like we're just
stagnant, I think,
part
but
of
like once it
machinery.
started getting to the Dominion War, so
Don't you want
good.
more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
I got no complaints.
Now, what are you complaining about? We got the best seat in the house out here. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander
Yeah, the
Chovak.
Picard series,
We are
third
at-
season. That was
Acknowledged. You may
that's the
proceed
love
with the
letter to Star Trek,
recalibration.
I reckon. It was so good. It's awesome seeing the TNG crew interact again. What did they need again? How was it? Calibration tool. Here we go. It's alright. That's
Beginning
right.
recalibration.
We're doing recalibrations out here. Yeah, there was plenty of fan service, but it was like in a really tasteful, good way. What are we doing? Tune mode. Oh, here we go.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
have to let go, okay?
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Blinking red, that's always a good sign.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I am the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out.
Most senior officer,
Better than just
so
about
he should have
anyone.
been taken in command. Maybe. That's impressive.
What a very impressive list of credentials.
This is a research and discovery ship, first and foremost. Now with a former tactical officer as its new first officer. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for first officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario, but not outside the realm of possibility.
Never been a problem?
In my entire career, it's never been an issue, or caused the slightest problem. And I don't expect this to be any different.
I was
he's
just curious.
He's a little bit,
That's
isn't
all.
he? I almost like
Can I be
expected him
blunt,
to be
Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but
how you doing, man?
the shoes you're stepping into
Hope
are
you've been
almost
well.
impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew.
I'm playing some Star Trek today. I believe you're playing some
friends. So I can only hope
the
that you'll
shit's
live
game
up to
again.
expectations.
But in Klingon mode or whatever, versus some Borg the other day, that was looking pretty cool. I could never fill his shoes.
I don't think I could ever replace Commander Sutherland. And it would be a mistake
World
to
of
even
Warships,
try.
isn't it?
Seeing as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into.
Yeah, you actually like that interaction.
Unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy
Damn
wave
ion
inbound.
storm.
On screen.
Oh, hello.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps.
Yeah, World of Warships.
The storm's
That's
emissions are fluctuating.
such a weird
coming in waves. And if my
crossover.
projections are right,
But it seems
we're about
cool.
to get hit by a wideband burst of ionic energy, like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities
One
all over the
option.
ship.
Estimated time to impact. 2 minutes.
Red alert!
Aye.
Oh shit. Here we go. Man, this is
Evacuating
just
main
a-
gangway and retracting.
Hey, we've got crew
Sensor
outside.
visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
That's right, which is why we need to send power to our shields.
Freaking shields up. It's Star Trek. Let's
Petrosian,
go.
get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields. Stand by. I need a heading. We only got
Run.
one shot.
I think we're
Understood.
still docked at the
On my command.
starbase. Oh,
Heading locked.
Raise shields!
yeah, see, we're still docked, but I mean, run would have been a good
This is
option
it.
too.
All hands, brace for impact.
The corridor's padding came in handy, I told you.
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
Blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood.
Again, access points on the outside of the ship. Let's go. Vital systems. Only accessible west spacewalk.
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Click.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
What happens if a torpedo hits this very hatch on the ship? Are they just screwed? Is that like a weak point?
Diaz to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled.
GG, game over.
Heads up, Carter.
Just turn it off and on again. That's it. Just eject the warp core, we'll collect it later.
I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Let's sever the docking clamp. Oh.
So we gotta climb up the
shot.
pylon. Not that there's really an up, but you know.
If it doesn't work, just shoot at it. It's very scientific. Oh. Yeah. More phaser work. Oh, hello. Okay, so we can only take 3 hits.
Are you alright?
Yeah. So took most of it. Just snuck up on me.
That damaged your suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%.
It's not exactly Call of Duty aiming. Oh. The slow turn. I know we're in 0G, but yeah.
Almost to the regulator.
We're not gonna make it. Oh. We made it.
We're at the regulator. Opening the access panel.
Now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral.
Reset to neutral, so we've turned it off. And now we're going to turn it back on again. Oh. phase.
ABS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done.
This is not the
Once I
access
cycle the
panel you're
manifold
looking
nozzles,
for.
Chovak can...
Yeah, man. You gotta restart that warp core with the, like, the dynamo. That's going to cost a lot of dilithium.
Get down! Diaz to bridge!
We'll let
We just
them.
lost the docking clamp.
We just lost the starbase, I reckon, man.
We've got a lot
Oh,
of
just
debris
the
coming
docking
down.
clamp.
All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release
A little
the
bit of
ship from that
paint.
other docking clamp or the hull will
bit
be
of
ripped
wax.
apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working.
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Give me options.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
The docking clamp isn't functioning. We're exploring
The
our
option
options.
is to detonate the emergency release.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
It's
Propel
always
the
reversing
engineering
the
crew
polarity.
right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead.
Too many cooks in the
Captain,
kitchen.
we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order.
Trust me.
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision.
The captain made himself
like that.
quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
So explode something near them or throw them off the hull, basically.
And there are lives.
What is the holdup?
Yeah. At least they're not going to have binary explosion. Let's try the
Starbase,
reverse.
stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Captain didn't like it, crew
Yes,
did, and the Vulcan was neutral. Imagine that. Steve, reverse the
This is acting
polarity.
Captain Jara Ryder. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull
Justin
polarity
sacrificed a
to
few to save the
remaining
many.
docking clamp. Tether yourself and deactivate your boots on my mark.
We leave no man behind. Oh, they got tethers.
8,
That's alright. They're
7,
gonna be fine.
6, 5,
Enjoy the ride.
4,
Oh, lock on.
3,
Oh shit.
2, 1. Mark!
Grab my hand! I got you.
Thank you.
She'll be right, mate.
Plasma imbalances.
That'd be
reaching
cool if we
critical
could set up an
condition. We are
integration
moments from
and do a
binary
run.
System failure.
Let chat decide.
Got it.
Oh, we gotta crank it up again. Didn't have enough power the first time. Mate, push it. Go. Oh, you've got it. Come on. Come on. Yeah, you gonna help? Good. Feel good.
Look out!
Oh! Quick.
I got you. Petty Officer Etzelar's hurt and unconscious.
Yeah, goddamn.
I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edsolar there to access the interior.
Roger that. We're going there now.
Seems safe. Seems good.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
Oh, he's awake.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this.
No way.
Get in there.
Not on your life.
Took a big hit
Let's
to the
not
head.
let it come
Get
down
in.
to that.
No, you hang. Okay, seems fun.
We made it.
Hey. Dramatic pause.
They're safe. Bringing the Sif fully online.
Is that Vulcan smiling?
Do it.
I think he smiled. Alright, we're structurally sound now. We got the structural integrity field. GD. I like
Millie.
the chapters kind of like have episode titles.
I'm good. Help me with him.
Yeah, no, no. Ad break before the big reveal.
Let's get this off.
That's it. We got an ad break on
Medical.
Twitch coming
Got
up in
one wounded
19
at my
minutes, but
location.
didn't quite line up.
Carter. You don't look so good.
But yeah, got a bit of
You
a
gotta be
tattoo
more
there, mate.
careful. I just got here. I'm not ready to see you two get blown to space dust just yet. Now let's get you down to sickbay.
Great.
Why aren't they just transporting him to sickbay? Are those systems down?
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermont?
Releasing the docking clamps using hull polarity minimized damage to the Resolute. We'll have some last-minute repairs to make, but if we reapportion some of the staff, we can make our departure on time. As of now, however, we are successfully moored to the station.
Good to hear. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Here we go. Gonna get a shakedown.
You disobeyed my orders. Well?
It was the right decision.
Respectfully, Captain, I made the right choice given the information
You
I had.
disobeyed my orders! And not just in front of the bridge crew, but the Starbase staff as well. That's going to get around. My name's already tarnished around the fleet. But what is it going to do to my credibility on this ship? From the top to the bottom. Bridge to lower decks.
You didn't have the facts.
Captain, I told you I'd be honest, so here it is. Maybe I shouldn't have disobeyed a direct order, but you were wrong. You weren't on board, and you didn't have all the information. So I made the right decision for the ship. If you're worried about your credibility, Put your ego aside and trust your crew. Trust me.
You might have won some fans on the bridge with that stunt, but not everyone. Lieutenant Commander Chovak has already bent my ear.
I'm sure he doesn't take it personally. He'll get over it in time.
Mr. Chovak is more complicated than he would want to admit. I guess we all are. And, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure what I would have done in the moment either. You never really know if you weren't in those shoes. So, let's just boil it down to, you did what you had to. That'll have to be good enough for me.
Thanks for understanding.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm sure no one knows the burden of command as well as you do.
I'm sure you will, someday. Despite it all,
what a first officer's for, right?
Clearance to depart.
Give the best.
So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot
in the situation, even if
details of any
it's a little bit against the grain.
And we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir.
Interesting shape. Alaska is a tall ship. Nice. Good throwback quotes.
All departments reporting full mission readiness. We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sit. Sit, everyone. You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Are they repaired? did we just move around the base and redock them?
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
Set a course for the Hotari system. Prepare to go to Warp 8.
Aye, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me?
What are we doing, chat? Engaged? Do it? Or make way? What do we want? Let's fucking go. Just do it. Alright, we'll go.
Helm. Do it.
Do it. Nice.
Nicely done.
Yes, let's stare at the chair.
Easy.
Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look so good.
Alright. Check our little Fitbit.
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Wee.
Commander, help me get her inside!
don't know if you saw at the start. She's a species that needs a certain substance in her blood, and if she gets low on that, you can pass out, or more actually disintegrate, like molecular structure.
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm
the main
did a real
character's
number
cross.
on him, but he'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your duridium levels got dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
There you go.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
rare. I know.
I was going to say special. Your people's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the duridium you need to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
It'd be difficult, it's gonna help. That's who I am.
I know what it means. And I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
That's exactly right. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in a pressure cooker.
But I will pause the game, the ad.
Which is never a good headspace when the lives of your crew are at stake. What concerns me is that now he's even further away from the thing he's been chasing
take a bit of a stretch, take a drink,
breakthrough discovery,
grab some snacks,
a major
back
innovation,
after that.
something he can put his name on. The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets,
to get his name on
the more risk he'll be willing to take. People become blinded by their own ambition. I've seen it happen before.
I won't let that happen.
I hear you. But that's my job, isn't it? To make sure that doesn't happen. And we don't lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is exactly why I'm so glad you're here. We need you now more than ever. And I have to give you credit for what happened on the bridge. It took guts to defy a direct order.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship. And everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Didn't she wear like a little, like a diabetic little device or something that gives her little top-ups? Especially in an emergency or something like that.
Lieutenant Bedrosian.
I came to see if you were okay. We were all pretty worried on the bridge. No one knew what was happening.
Oh, yeah, thanks for coming.
I'm feeling much better. Thank you. It's just part of who I am.
You don't have to explain to me. I understand. I'm just glad you're okay. You trusted me earlier with the shields, and I appreciated that. I want you to know that I have your back.
Thank you.
Wanted to raise the shields.
Now, Carter, the emissions that gave you that burn are quite unusual, like everything else that goes with this storm. That's a combination of hyronolin and lectrazine to counter the radiation effects. That should help speed your healing.
Can't use a thermal regenerator?
Just come by a couple of times to see you already. Be brief.
It's good to see you awake again. I was starting to get worried. Not that you aren't in good hands with Dr. Duval. You did take one hell of a shot, though.
Can't get rid of me.
Ah, come on. You know you can't get rid of me that easy.
Don't push me, Diaz. You do not want to see me try.
No, nope. I am not getting on your bad side.
I am a formidable enemy. Nilly was looking in on you too, by the way. But since it's just us right now, I had a chance to think about this while I was away. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse, leaving it unsaid.
You could tell me anything.
It's okay, Miranda. You can tell me anything.
I know that.
Then come on. Just spit it out.
I'm trying. Let me talk. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
Whoa. It's clear he does too, right?
Carter? You don't have to explain it. I feel the same way. There is something between us.
So, do you want to find out what that something is? If it's there for you, and it's there for me, why not give it a try?
I only took him to almost get taken out.
I just said yes.
I wanted to be sure I heard that right.
Sorry to interrupt, but the patient needs to rest if he wants to get back to his old self.
Of course. I'll see you again soon.
Alright, so what's gonna happen later? If they're adding a romantic interest this early.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
What's the asteroid field that you reckon, Anson?
Shield integrity holding.
We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types. I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute.
Just a normal shuttlecraft trip.
Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer. It won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Yeah, fine.
I'm sure.
This is Excelsior. Hey.
Come on, Diaz.
He's an old style.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
No worries. Pull it towards the asteroid.
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Oh. Can we move it? Yeah. Oh. Okay. Oh. Quick. These quick time events. Sick. Seems fine.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz to bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Yeah, that's where they intercept. Let's go.
Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17.
There's a shuttlecraft
200 meters on an
bay in the
intercept
front of the
course.
ship, isn't it?
Maneuvering.
We saw it from the outside. You gonna scoop them up? Or we're just gonna take. Oh, slice.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Alright. Reminder, we've got an ad in a minute. Can't skip it, unfortunately. But we'll take a small break. I pause for the end break. Alright, and I'm gonna be dramatic. I'm gonna pause right now. And we can see who's on board the shuttle when we come back. So I'll let the ads run. I'm gonna go be right back, grab myself a drink as well. Guys, have a stretch, have a bit of a relax, and we'll be back soon. Catch you then.
Up next.
I love it. Karen versus the manager. Boomers.
What's up with her chicken wings?
She's got claws.
Claws, yeah.
They're evenly matched. Meaty claws.
You can't vote for a Karen.
Now it's time to determine champion of causing humanity's extinction.
Don't swap out Karen.
It's
And there's a comeback.
brawl.
Oh, no comeback for Sad Ghost.
No.
Oh no.
Sad Ghost.
Are beginning to tip.
No, Sad Ghost cannot redeem this.
You let the Karen win, people.
Jake. Come on. Oh my gosh. I swear that's rigged. It's like RNG.
And this music is tense.
Ominous for sure.
Here we go, guys. If you got range, start doing it now.
Don't have the right angle.
Go. Okay.
It's coming in.
There we go. That's it. Go, guys. Let's go.
Reload, go.
Good job, guys. Yeah. We're turning hard. People are turning harder. Pulling this up.
Oh, what a...
Up, turn harder. There we go. Turning really hard here. We'll have another angle here. Good job.
Okay, that's enough. That's
Yeah.
I think they got... Just guard bomb.
I'm fucked. 3v1?
Back off.
Yeah, playtime. Playtime, don't peek.
Not peeking.
Nice, got it.
Yeah! What a
Well played,
Yeah,
well played.
3v1.
Well played.
Cams? Let's check cams for Steve, yeah? Let's do it. Go on cams.
Where is he?
Whoa! Oh.
Cool. Didn't see that.
Speedrun. Yeah, and I think you have to speedrun the rest of the game, John. I think that's how you have to play it, knowing you only got 11 minutes left.
There is going to be a timing, right? Hang on, let's see if we can get this.
Yeah, it'd be about where you jump from first. Yes. No.
This is just gonna be 9 minutes of just me dying over and over again.
Groundhog Day.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, they haven't caught up yet. Oh, shit.
That cannonball is
That
coming.
one.
Oh!
There we go. So is this one.
No, that one's gonna miss. And now I've got no ammo. Oh no! Ah. Not a good idea. Melee. I'm surprised that worked! Oh my gosh. Oh, I want the vision enhancer. What? What just happened? What?
What the fuck?
Somebody threw a grenade at me.
I don't know. They blew something up.
That was amazing. Somebody threw. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking through the ad break. Hope you had a good stretch. Hope you got a drink. Cheers. All right, let's find out. Let's find out who's on this shuttle, I guess. I'm enjoying this so far. This is yeah, this is pretty good. It's very, very it's very, very Star Trek. So it's yeah, good. Alright. Who's on the shuttle?
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Magic reveal. That's
Terra firma, so to speak.
Fuck.
Ambassador Spock.
There you go.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Good impersonation. Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy. We're just gonna stand awkwardly next to him. Sorry for the rough landing.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam.
So you like stuff.
We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Gotta be the storm.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical. Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Legend. That's cool. cinematography in this game is
Ambassador
actually
Spock,
quite good.
my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
We need your experience.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details.
Save the captain from that
We got the
awkward
basics from Starfleet.
exchange.
Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Elydia and Hotari. Elydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Elydians have shared a mining operation there. The Elydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Elydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Elydians retaliated?
Have the Elydians retaliated against the Hotari? Or taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. They were open to a Federation presence, but it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet in open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them
The
peace
Federation's
is a more
worried about the
profitable
dilithium.
alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
It'd still be exploited, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for their own resources.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such, this conflict will surely come again.
Neither the Elydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Elydians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We won't be trusted.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Elydium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the ion storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Elydian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
Perfect storm, yeah.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Elydians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case. It would be unconventional, but I'm not opposed to it.
I'm honored to be included in the negotiation process.
You're not just included, you are instrumental.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation,
race is not officially part of the Federation.
Peace may very well depend on it.
That way she has a little bit of a more neutral city. Hell yeah. Navigational complexities. Here comes the fun engineer. Chief engineer.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look.
The chief engineer
I'm ready
of
to
the
crack this
shuttlecraft.
thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chovok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking. You did the smart thing.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for.
Go, Brandy.
But first, we have work to do.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Press that diagnostics button. Oh, it's over here somewhere. Go. Oh yeah, we needed to be here for this. Begin diagnostic.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me.
Have some faith.
And I know you'll respect that.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Circuit inspector. That got it? Come on. Yeah. Oh. Ah, cool. We're kind of inspecting the flight path.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
I guess we better press them.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp
Chucked
coil
it in
cracked.
reverse, mate.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Channel panic.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer.
Okay.
You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this.
Okay.
One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
Old school tech. Use your tricorder. Ah, okay. Have a look. Okay. Ew. Got any cracks in it? Good scan. Some objects you scan will activate a deep scan, okay. Left and right bumper to switch between different scan modes. Search for glowing objects. Okay. No deviations detected. Alright, what else? The coils show evidence of routine maintenance. Yep. Bit of coils guide through the warp field. Focal bit. Okay. No fractures detected, but that's good. What else we got? Modes. Biological scan mode. No, I don't think there's any life signs in there. Radiation scan mode. Chemical scan mode. Oh, good. Alright. I don't see any but. It's like. Alright, can we holster it? Plate scan? What trigger? There you go.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Miranda.
Hey.
I'm not here.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Oh, he's good. Busy for the boss.
Well, we can't let the brass catch us slacking on the job. Just play along. This is a Mark IV outboard diagnostic panel used for troubleshooting shuttles and other medium-sized transport vehicles. Some people prefer the Mark V because it's one better, but the Mark IV is still one better than the Mark III.
That all sounds very technical.
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari!
We always hear about this
That
Parisi
is another one of
Squares
the
game
Captain's railroad
in
things.
the series. Never see it.
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on the
Let's go. Go for it. Come on. The animation on the hover lips.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
Save
clearly
some
something's
time for
gonna
when I
happen.
get back.
You've got a deal.
Be seeing you.
Achievement unlocked. Lower deck stallions.
Etzelar de Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
I love
What
all
if
this
the
techno
subspace
babble.
variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure return non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Punch it. Let's go.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation.
Revved it too
the
hard.
warp drive has
Went to the red
experienced a
light.
system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
I mean, it got to what, 1.1? That's at least leaping out of the system. May take a couple of days. This is the Hotari.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is Tyler Kaltaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours. And this is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Lydians.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
That was a frown, dude. He's seeing the Lydians arrive.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
Visiting the colonies.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here.
He seems full of himself.
That guy was something.
He does, though. Yeah.
He certainly seems full of himself. No missing that. You could probably see it from orbit.
What a piece of work.
Remember, we are here at their invitation. We must remain deferential whenever possible.
Of course, but even that has its limits.
Looks no stranger to emotional outbursts from humans. What are we gonna do? Flight down.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Holtari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Holtari people and their queen, but recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war!
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another.
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
For now.
I get the sense she's cut from the same cloth as Galvin. I thought they wanted us here.
He's tough.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Oh, here we go.
Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is
brutalized by the Cardassians.
Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elydians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elydians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
Federation always seeks peace.
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered, and I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydek. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
As Ambassador Spock has said, we've come seeking a peaceful resolution to this conflict, and have no interest in your dilithium.
I'm not nearly as naive as you must think. The Federation has done business with the Elydians for decades, which makes me question your motives.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth.
The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Lydian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done
strike
so
a match on this fuel of a situation.
So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau?
Whoa.
Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Lydians?
Oh, jeez.
Can only be one or the other, not both.
I mean, they're dredging up the lithium, so...
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
And you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns.
It wasn't going to go good either way.
But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Ryder.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
If everything was fair and just as the Lydians are trying to make us believe, like, there'd be no issue, right? Appreciate the water. Hydrate.
Soothing.
Interesting choice. Who's over here? No, can't talk to that person.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Lydians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
I'm not on either side.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
I will keep that in mind.
I assume you were there, the day the mines were seized from the Lydians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Lydians could even realize their worst nightmare was upon them.
Did you have help from someone else?
Hotari stands alone against the Lydian forces. We don't need help from anyone.
Face Hawks, strong together.
They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship.
Warship?
Ready to contend with anything the Illydians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
You can hold its own.
I wouldn't say state-of-the-art, but the Resolute is plenty capable and can hold its own against just about anything.
Let's hope so. Because at the moment, it's the only thing preventing them from wiping us off the map.
Sidron.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
I do feel tempted to say it's like a science person, though. It would be funny.
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
If anyone deserves thanks, it's Ambassador Spock. No one is more invested in negotiating a peaceful settlement to this conflict than he is.
I'm so glad. We need his help before the situation escalates further than it already has. It's been very trying. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
You trust them?
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
I don't trust their instincts, which are leading us to war. My fear has been that the Illydians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of.
Anomalies are affecting their systems as well.
Still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Illydians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference.
Just buying time with the Federation presence?
Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
You sure of this? Sounds like she doesn't know.
Are you sure of this?
It's been the talk of the palace since the day of the revolt.
Found something in the
How can we know?
A life form?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Of course.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Lydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
We are and will remain completely neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution to this conflict.
As is ours. Of course, the question is, at what price? Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Lydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least, that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
You sound skeptical.
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives, that it was more than just the storm, that somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
So they were primitive?
You said the Hotari were primitive.
Well, they are.
Except for the part about weaponizing ion storms.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Yeah, weaponizing ion storms. Makes me think there might be some sort of entity that they've uncovered on the moon. Where's Captain Solano? Can I run? Oh, you can run! The push of the stick.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Elydians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Yeah, we got somebody on the inside now. Let's go do some scans for us.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
Feels like every time we push it to the limit, that's when it breaks. Yeah. Maybe force isn't required.
It is evident that presently, the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
Might be the storm.
We need to know more.
Otherwise, it'll be an extended stay in the Hotari system.
The storm didn't stop us from leaving space dock and traveling here. But could it still be causing this interference with warp travel?
We must follow sound investigatory principles. Do not let an assumed conclusion drive your analysis.
Sometimes we need a little inspired thinking, Mr. Chovak. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clear picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
scientific method. Leon or Hatari ship out there?
I'm setting up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Alright, we actually pilot the shuttle. Right trigger to fly forward. Left trigger to fly backward. Okay, out of turn. Let's see how we go. Oh, don't hit the ship.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings. Standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Thank you, Mr. Chovak. We'll be in position shortly.
And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
Do a barrel roll.
Chovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
Gotta talk and cruise? He's not so bad.
Nah, Lieutenant Commander Chovak's not so bad. You know, once you get used to him. And, I've learned a lot working under him.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to work harder to be a political animal like you. With this new first officer coming aboard.
The needle.
This is far enough. Transporting the first probe into position.
Alright, we do have another ad break coming up in a minute. But I do pause for ad breaks. We can take another moment to have a bit of a stretch, grab another drink, grab some more snacks.
We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
Problem? I just can't get a handle on her. Commander Rydek. She rejected my plan to use a deflector pulse against the storm surge. But on the other, she did listen to my advice and use the whole polarity trick to get you through that excursion alive. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the new XO. I'm sure she's a fine officer, even if we don't see eye to eye. But she didn't go through what the rest of us did. You know that. And it's hard to figure out why she'd be the one Solano chose instead of, well, one of us.
Fair chance.
I've heard some good things. You should at least give her a chance.
I'll take that under advisement.
Test is running. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
Hey.
Whoa. All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there.
Happening out there.
With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there. Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. And don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap.
But you're a people first.
He said that about Chovak. Sure.
Well, if you're asking, I think you're a people person. After all, here we are. Me, an enlisted officer. You, one of the senior staff. Talking like old buddies.
I should send Solano to talk to you.
Bring him on.
I'm sure you can handle him. You've got potential. You're a capable engineer. You're good in the field. Keep up the good work, and who knows? A solid jack of all departments like you could be Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet one day. Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot.
Can you get me a
There are places to go in the
promotion?
enlisted ranks too. Of course, if you get an officer's commission, they'll put you on another ship.
You know, I'd be the best leader Starfleet ever had. Lower decks always have to fix all the problems command causes. Maybe I'd just save everybody some steps.
Well, don't forget about us little people when you're running things.
Of course not. You gotta remember where you came from.
He likes that. That's good.
Here, this is close enough. Stop the engines. Deploying the probe. Westbrook to Commander Chovak. We're ready for another sampling of data.
Very good. Running the simulation again.
Alright. We'll give it a second because we're about to have the ad break. Enjoying this. It definitely touches on Star Trek a lot. And that's, I mean, also it's very true to Star Trek. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested. I reckon there's something to do with the mines causing these distortions. Maybe the iron storm. Maybe that's why there's always been iron storms. They've been mining over a long time. And yeah, something happened to really cause that. So we'll find out what happens. We'll be right back soon. Grab a drink, have a stretch, and yeah, we'll come back. Catch you then. Blue boy. Blue boy. I had no evidence and then the grenade blew up in my face.
He locked the door and I was like, it's this one. He locked it and then we're just like, yeah, whatever, and walk away. I'm just like, no. What happened?
But to me, you were both on the other side of the door, so I didn't know who locked it. So I'm like, nah, I can't tell.
Oh, Tim and John sticking together like glue here. I might as well stick together too. Alright, this way, guys. Oh. Where did John go? Why did John split? John split for a reason? Where? What? Oh my god. Oh my god. This is a slick as ninja kill right here.
Dunks, I left you with Tim. What happened?
I did too.
Tim? Oh.
Tim, you're alone.
Storm Fiend on the roof.
No, I got lynched! No!
Oh. I'm gonna see if I can get it. I got it. I jump shot at it.
Oh, that was so stupid. I literally was just getting over the wall and I got leeched. Hate you, game. Hate you so much.
Whoa!
You should take extra damage for 10 seconds. Get him.
We're getting him. He's going down. Got him. Long con. Oh, amazing.
Hey. Hello there.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Hey.
Junkrat primed and ready.
Because I know she can see me through the wall, so I'm just gonna dance. Yeah, see? Hello? Steve just sus behind me. It's Steve! It's Steve! It's Steve! It's Steve! Blizzard.
Who are you saying it is? Blizzard.
What?
No, I'm Blizzard. What are you talking about?
I'm super confused. Sorry, it looked like Steve. It looked like Steve.
We all look the same.
Is it Connor again?
Oh my god, get back into the tub! I'm hella excited to let
Enemy
people
orders you to get back in the
Ooh,
tub.
Okay, that's nice. And it'll probably be a much more unique. Oh my god, there it goes.
Alright, well, yeah. Can't refuse a silly bean order.
With this drink too.
I don't know, has she seen the hot tub before?
Oh my god.
I kind of use it.
I love that so much. Sorry, this stream is
How
just
you doing,
me
silly
watching
bean?
John's
Hope
stream
you're
at
doing
the
well.
moment. Oh my god.
Fantastic Life is Strange
That's incredible.
stream the other day. Well done, powering through it. I think that was a record for you. I think it was under 24 hours, wasn't it? So that was halted midstream to appreciate it.
Thanks.
So good.
Thanks,
That's
John.
funny.
Maka, who are you?
Gotta love that.
John. Get back in. John, guys. John's at me.
Oxygen.
I hear John somewhere.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Wait, there's two yellows.
What's up,
Shit,
guys?
one of them's still.
Ah, shit. Damn it. I had to
What? Wait, there's two yellows. I'm like, I'm the other yellow, so I just shot at him.
Oh, God, that was hard.
Okay, we're back. I haven't actually had a look at this yet. Seems like we've got a little list of the interactions that we had. So, yeah, that was the first interaction with Jaro. That's cool. So we can see a little bit of the path that we've taken along the way. That's good. They're about to deploy a probe.
Warp field collapse in 3, 2,
Go deploy
1.
the probe.
Launch.
Test. Oh, seems
There
good.
it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Well, what about the scans? Anything?
Here's the readings in relation to our local space. We've got the Resolute, Otari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Big tab event. Locate the interference peaks. Okay. That's what?
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more.
Weep. Weep. Another.
Hold up. This is coming from the moon.
A beam that blocks warp travel.
Aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally. I don't know how they're doing it. This is like nothing I've ever seen.
Who's not an attack? Why would they do it?
Why would they be doing this? We came here to help these people. And now we're getting hit by some warp-killing weapon?
Now, look here. It's current readings of the ion storm.
These concentrations. They line up with the interference pattern. The storm and this beam, they're coming from the same place.
Carter, whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger. Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this.
Yes.
One thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano
How's your night going, Steve? Hope it's still well.
Targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
I
And here I thought the Illydians would be the problem. Coming to peace talks in a warship.
Nice, getting ready for the weekend.
It wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
Oh, the Illydians. What are the Hotari up to?
I don't know why the Hotari wanted us here, but it wasn't to negotiate.
Clearly, peace is not their intention.
Then what is? Why go through this charade?
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate it. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us? Go behind her people's back? It's a fair question, considering.
Trust me.
Out of all of them, she's the one who seemed to genuinely appreciate that the Federation was involved. She believes in us, and I think we can believe in her.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us here, only to make this hostile maneuver against us? There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
That's the thing. It doesn't make sense to bring us here. Tylus said that Galvin and Sidron have restricted access to the mines, even to the Hotari. So they don't want anybody to learn what they've found.
Then calling in the Federation is a funny way of going about it. I don't think the Illydians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harnessed the energy of the storm.
Harness the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capabilities.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Illydians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
But that is all the more reason to investigate further.
The moon was previously inhabited?
Commander Rydek, sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Hotari. The Queen's advisor, Tylus, has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
I mean, that rich into lithium. Lithium is famous for directing energy.
Galvin and Sidron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
Receive scan data.
Got it. Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose it wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Can we reconnect?
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
It was hard to tell.
Yeah. I got her into this mess.
I'm the one who got her into this. If something happens to her, it's my fault.
She's one of the Queen's closest advisors. I'm sure she'll be fine. Assuming the Queen isn't part of this. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
Tylus suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, then it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Illydians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We were, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation. However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith. which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof.
The Federation doesn't have to know.
Otherwise, it could put us in a difficult position.
Artifact is proof.
Whatever this artifact is may be proof enough. At least to satisfy the Federation.
Especially if we can show the Hotari are controlling the warp disruption. And targeting the Resolute.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question. And I will handle the Federation.
Yeah.
As I was telling Carter, I want all the data I can get on this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data all the way back from Hotari. Even better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Chovak down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
I didn't like this warp problem when we thought it was some astronomical anomaly. And I like it a hell of a lot less now that we know someone is doing it to us. How does it work? What do we even do about it?
What do you say we pull these chips and find out?
Took some damage on the way. That ionic interference scored the hull plating. Might be some micro welds. Let's try pulling together.
All right.
3, 2, 1. It won't budge. Gotta be the storm damage. We need to... Welcome back. Any excitement down on the surface?
Excitement? No. Nothing like that.
Hey, can you hand me the EJ7 interlock? From the toolbox.
I don't know what that is.
Not much use for one on a security detail, huh? Carter?
Yeah, I'll get it.
The EJ7 interlock. What's the plasma welding torch? Sure. All right, mate.
Okay, I'll apply pressure while you decouple the panel.
Here, I'll help.
We've got this.
Open up and say ah.
Thanks for the hand. We have to get these isolinear chips down to engineering.
No problem. You
Why
really
is it
know
open?
everything about these ships, don't you? The tools, the systems. Like a walking Starfleet technical manual.
Engineering is cool now.
Oh, I thought security was the detail to be on. Now all of a sudden you're interested in engineering?
Just the engineer.
Neutral.
Come on, start pulling chips.
Chippers. It looks so fragile, like, and to be right near the edge of the hull too. Oh, Butterfingers. Oh, what's that?
What's this?
Some kind of crystal formation?
Whoa. This substance is a quantized spin crystallization of hydrogen, carbon, and lithium. It's emitting tetrametric pulses at an interval of 3.8422 seconds.
Quantized crystallization isn't natural. I mean, it's only theoretical as a means to engineer matter on a subatomic level. What's it doing in there?
Highly advanced. Yeah, that's right. Pick up the unusual crystal with your bare hands.
Wait.
Yeah.
Regulation 364, subsection 9.
What?
Regulation 364, subsection 9 orders that in the case of an unknown foreign substance infiltrating a sealed system, it will be placed in secure confinement before further examination. Retrieve a containment module.
Don't you think we're more equipped to deal with whatever this is?
No. Before anything else, this is a security issue. You don't even know what this is.
Which is why we need to study it.
Once it's contained.
Good present, right?
Well, if it's not natural, then someone might have put it there. It could be a tracking device, some kind of sabotage, or even a bomb.
Which is why we need to get it to the containment lab.
Come on.
I can't make an exception. Not even for you.
I'm still going to report these crystals to Commander Westbrook when we send the shuttle data.
And I will inform my superiors. I'm taking this just as seriously as you are. But I overheard talk about the warp disruption on the shuttle. Now these crystals? Maybe this situation is more than we can handle with just a science vessel. We could trigger a distress call.
Vessel we seem more equipped to figure things out.
Or I could send a message to my old CO on the Adirondack. Get some combat-tested vessels. We shouldn't do this alone.
Ooh. Do we need backup? I don't know. I feel like, as far as the negotiations go, we should probably stay a little bit more neutral. Show of force might tip the hand, tip the balance. And we also don't want to trap anybody else here with that warp collapsing weapon. I'm gonna say we're on our own here for a moment.
We're at the edge of the quadrant. Help isn't just gonna pop over like we're in Sector 001.
Wouldn't hurt to try.
You talk like you've never had your backs up against a wall before. This is Starfleet. We solve our own problems.
Okay, stand back. Get this to the containment lab.
Micro teleporter.
We'll get it set up for you. I'll let you know when it's safely confined.
Oh, we'll be there.
Last thing you want is to study this down in main engineering and have it explode next to the warp core.
That's so true. How many episodes of TNG? Oh, hello.
Almost forgot.
Can't have that.
How many episodes of TNG have like Geordie and Data just been
For a second, I thought
testing
she'd gone
something
cold on you.
experimental next to the warp core?
Like she might have changed
Like
her
testing
mind.
a phaser or something.
But I guess this whole situation has her spooked. Maybe she knows more than us? Or it's because this is all happening so fast? But she usually doesn't scare easy.
I don't know. I don't know enough about her yet. I feel like she's doing her job though.
Well, of course she's taking it seriously, but that's her job.
Security.
She's on duty, she's gotta be on the lookout for danger.
Yeah, but talking about sending a distress call on her own? That's going too far.
That was a little bit
She was probably just thinking out loud. I'm sure she'll come to her senses. This mission has enough complications stacking up.
Now, we'll get through it. You, me, and Miranda too.
Commander Rydek was able to work behind the scenes during the negotiations and made contact with a representative from the Hotari delegation named Tylus. She mentioned an unusual artifact of unknown origin being held under tight security within the Hotari Palace, which she believes came from the mines on Tau. Now, this artifact might have a connection to the revolt, to the storm, and to the warp disruption we now know has been targeted at the Resolute. Commander Rydick, if you want to take it from here.
Of course. Tylus managed to infiltrate the heavily guarded location within the palace and sent us these scans using my tricorder. It appears to be some sort of control panel, possibly connected to the warp disruption weapon originating on Tau.
Maybe the original
Of particular
race.
interest is this symbol, which we couldn't identify the origin of.
The Federation database
It's
has
not very
records from a
definitive, is
vast
it?
number of civilizations. If anyone from Starfleet has come across this before, the system should recognize it.
Cross-referencing with Federation records.
Displaying symbols from Federation database with a 90% probability of match or higher. Select a symbol to further analyze.
That's not it. Nope. No. No. Ooh, that's pretty close.
.2% match.
Got it.
The Tikan Empire. Yep.
So, what are we looking at?
The design and composition indicate this is a glyph associated with the ancient Tikan
So they're
Empire.
gonna be the
Their
Tikan
civilization
Empire or the
collapsed over
Arcanians?
600,000 years ago, but once spanned millions of systems with a population numbering in the trillions.
Fascinating. The Tikan were once the most advanced, most powerful civilization in the galaxy.
Is it possible the Hotari found Tikan technology?
I wonder if they even know what they have.
Our knowledge of the Tikan is limited. I have only encountered passing references to them.
I've heard of them.
Actually, I've heard of the Tikan.
You have?
Quite impressive, Commander.
Computer, summarize the Enterprise D's discovery of a Tikan outpost.
On stardate 41386.4, the USS Enterprise D, under the command of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, discovered a Tikan outpost in the Delphi Ardu system. According to the mission summary, an unbreakable energy-draining field was deployed against the Enterprise and a Ferengi ship. The Enterprise was only able to escape after negotiating their release with an entity known as Portal 63, Guardian of the Tikan
It's the
Empire.
D.
Unbreakable energy draining field. It starts to make sense.
What else
Tikan
is
were
there?
pretty good at manipulating energy.
There's a lot here. Let's take it piece by piece.
Select the aspect you wish to learn more about.
The D.
The technology to capture and hold the Federation flagship would have to be unbelievably powerful. Computer, what else can you tell us about the energy-draining field the Tikan used?
The Enterprise D was unable to break free on its own. The precise nature of the technology was never fully
Well, this was a
understood.
pretty
Only that the
early
crystalline
episode,
technology used was
season
beyond
1
the
or season 2.
comprehension of then current Starfleet science.
The engineering team found a quantized spin crystal formation in the shuttle you took to Hotari. They registered tetrametric radiation coming from it.
We have Tikan technology on board right now?
We might. I'll run a full analysis in the containment lab.
Someone from the Tikan Empire is actually still around.
Or at least was, 16 years ago.
Computer, what other information do you have on Portal 63, Guardian of the Tikan Empire?
The entity known as Portal 63 is of an unknown nature. A biped humanoid, he was unaware that the Tikan Empire no longer existed at the time of the encounter. He was able to control the crystal-based technology of the Tikan outpost through apparent telepathic means. It was by his choice that the Enterprise was released from the energy draining field after Commander William T. Riker of the Away team argued on behalf of both Starfleet and the Ferengi.
Telepathic control of their technology.
As I have said, they were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy.
What sort of planet is Delphi Ardu 4?
Delphi Ardu 4 is an M-class planet. A barren, rocky world with little to no vegetation and frequent ion storms.
Ion storms.
The giant crystals that grow there absorb energy, but it is not understood how they do so. The entire Delphi-Ardu system, consisting of 11 planets, was considered completely uninhabited until the encounter with Portal 6-3.
Frequent ion storms. That can't just be a coincidence. There appears to be some sort of restriction order from Starfleet. Computer, explain this restriction.
A Starfleet directive similar to General Order 7 forbids entering the Delphi-Ardu system or attempting to make contact with Portal 6-3.
Starfleet doesn't throw up a no trespassing sign for just anybody.
I suppose it makes sense considering what happened to the Enterprise D.
The Elydians should have crushed the revolt. But if the Hotari have Takan technology and can control it, I see why they're willing to negotiate peace. For all we know, this could be just the beginning. And we're up against something greater than we can imagine.
What are those mines? Yeah, we need to check it out, right?
There's only one way to find out. We need to see what's down there for ourselves.
I might be able to help with that. We've been able to triangulate the source of the ionic interference and warp disruption to a specific mine on Tau. Engineering used the latest data from your shuttle to pinpoint its origin. There.
So we know where to look.
Commander Rydek's right. We need to know what's down there, what the Hotari are hiding, to better understand what we're up against, and to neutralize it if we can.
Captain, embarking on a mission to the Hotari moon would not be viewed favorably by either side. However, given the circumstances, we are entirely within our rights to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure this doesn't blow up in our faces. Which is why I'm thinking of sending Commander Rydek on a covert mission to Tau. Assuming you're up to the task. It would require absolute secrecy. And obviously, it's not without risk.
I'll get the away team in and out. They're in safe hands with me.
Under normal circumstances, that would be the case. But given the sensitive nature of this incursion, I'm afraid you'll have to go it alone. I'm hoping Tylus can accompany you. The priority is to avoid detection. It's a calculated risk. The last thing we need is to get caught and then blamed for violating our neutrality and aggravating an already tense situation. We can't afford any mistakes.
Rides a thin line, don't they?
Which is why I've chosen you.
The risk you have to take.
It's a risk we have to take. We need to know what we're up against.
Agreed. And of course you'll have the full support of the Resolute throughout.
We must take every precaution.
Get in touch with Tylus and make the necessary arrangements as discreetly as possible.
Bridge to Captain Solano. The Elydians have moved additional ships to the edge of the Hotari system. Current heading is straight for the homeworld.
Understood.
It would seem we no longer have the luxury of waiting. In that case, may I suggest you and I return to Hotari Prime? Doing so will provide Commander Rydek as much time as possible to complete her mission.
Agreed. We'll hail the Queen's delegation from my ready room. We all know what we need to do. Dismissed.
Petty Officers Diaz and Edsolar, where is the crystal formation that you found in the shuttle? I have tasked Ensign Calloway with performing a full analysis of the tetrametric pulses.
Security brought it to the containment lab.
I was just there. They don't know anything about it. Security never checked it in.
Miranda never got there?
She's the one that had the crystal formation?
Yeah, her and the rest of the security detail from the negotiations.
Diaz to Maris. Carter Diaz to Miranda Maris.
Commander Westbrook to Petty Officer Miranda Maris. Respond.
Something's not right.
She's still on the ship. She has to be.
Computer, locate Petty Officer Miranda Maris.
Petty Officer Miranda Maris is in the isolinear storage array on Deck 5.
I'll go find her.
Good.
I am sure Mr. Diaz can attend to this on his own.
I thought it was gonna make me try and find my way around the ship. I saw Lydia lab. Hello.
Someone improperly pulled these isolinear chips.
Sabotage. Pretty cool. Yeah, that doesn't look.
Who did this?
Miranda.
Miranda? You in here? Hello?
Surely you'd call security. This is like sus. Ripping out chips left and right, eh? Yeah, they're complete.
Hello? Hey!
Oh, hang on. Jeez.
Miranda?
What the hell are you doing, Carter? You almost knocked me to the lower level. What's wrong with you?
Why did you run?
What were you doing running from me?
I didn't know it was you. There's no reason for you to be in here.
Commander Westbrook said the crystal formation we found in the shuttle never made it to the containment lab.
I don't know why he'd say that. I brought them there myself. Whatever he told you, he got it wrong. All I know is where I left them.
Did you answer our call?
Why didn't you answer when I tried you on the comm badge? When I called out to you in here?
I guess I was caught up in my work. Now, if we're done here, I have to go. Do you mind? I'm in the middle of my shift.
What's in the box?
Hold on a second. What's in that box you're carrying?
It's not the crystal formation, if that's what you mean.
No, it's a data storage drive.
It's for secure data. It's really not my place to talk about it.
I want a straight answer, Miranda. What are you doing here?
Carter, if things are gonna work out between us, I'm gonna need you to trust me a little more than this.
Take that angle, alright.
Because this is not a good start to a relationship. And I don't get why you're acting this way.
You are being honest.
It's hard to trust you when you aren't acting like yourself.
I'm not gonna keep explaining myself to you. Especially if you're not gonna listen to my answers.
I have gaslighting.
Edsalar de Diaz. What's the holdup?
Don't answer that. You and I can work this out. Please.
You're out of line.
You are seriously out of line, Miranda. First you tried to run, now this?
I'm not going to stand here and debate you.
Edsolar de Diaz. Are you okay?
It's a weird personality shift. What's going on?
So I see you found each other.
You were taking so long, the commander sent us to see what the problem was. Diaz, you were sent here with specific orders, and fighting your crewmate wasn't one of them. What the hell is going on here?
Alright, calm down.
Let's just let them explain.
I'd like to hear that, because I know what it looks like.
There's something seriously wrong with her. She's not herself, I'm telling you.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Well, for one, she was copying data onto this.
This drive is unauthorized.
There are ISOs all over the floor.
And that's why I was in here, investigating this situation. And when Carter came looking for me, we got our wires crossed. It wasn't anything more than that.
You lied.
Look, I wish I was wrong about this. That I was overreacting. More than anything. But I know what I saw. And it's not what she's saying.
I can't believe this.
I don't know what's going on here, but I think we need to call it into security. She can explain herself in the brig.
Hold on a minute. We don't need to put this on anyone's permanent record. Carter said you're not yourself. If something's wrong with you, we should head to sickbay and the doc will fix you right up.
Yeah, I haven't felt right since I came back from Hotari. I think I should see the doctor.
You two know her? If you really think she's not well, we can take her to sickbay first. But what I know is this is a security breach, and we should treat it as such.
Please, just let me go see the doctor.
She did have a bumpy ride back on the shuttle. Come on, Carter. We should get her taken care of.
You better be sure about this.
Let's take her to sickbay. It's better than the brig, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Like it.
Fine. Get checked out by medical. You two go with her. I'll put this back together.
Yeah, checking on the brig isn't going to give us answers. Maybe the doc will give us some answers. Looks very much like a typical next-gen soundstage. Rocky planet. Good though.
Rydick here.
This is Irma. Any trouble getting to the surface?
I'm really starting to miss transporters.
As long as this storm is around, you'd better learn to like shuttles. But if you can find the cause of the interference, we might be able to get back to transporting.
As if I needed another incentive. We both know there's a lot more than that riding on this.
Fair enough. You'll need to get in and out of the mine undetected, so I hope Minister Tylus can help in that regard.
So do I.
And to keep this covert, we'll refrain from contact unless absolutely necessary.
Understood. Rydick out.
Are we on the Hotari moon now?
The ionic interference is coming from underground. I should find a safer way down there.
You don't want to jump? Ooh, is that an ally? Very, a lot like crystal structure on this planet too.
I saw your shuttle take off. Hopefully no one else did. It's good to see you. Even under these unfortunate circumstances.
When you called to give us a scan, it sounded like they caught you. I was worried you'd been hurt.
It was nothing I couldn't handle.
Lead the way. I'll fill you in on what we've learned about the situation.
Follow me.
The device Galvin and Sidron brought back from the mines is being used to control some sort of warp disruption weapon that has the Resolute trapped in Hotari space. According to our readings, the power source for that device is on this moon, at the specific coordinates I sent you.
That sounds impossible, but explains the rumors of the Hotari controlling the ionic storm.
We strongly suspect the device was created by an ancient empire known as the Takan.
The Takan?
Once the most powerful civilization in the galaxy, but they've been gone for over 600,000 years.
It's hard to believe there's something like that on Tau.
Which is why I need proof. If we find hard evidence that Galvin and his allies are hiding dangerous Takan technology, I can convince the Federation to let us intervene.
Understood. We're almost there.
Definitely feels like a good episode of Star Trek.
That's the mine?
Prospect 614 North, Subdivision 20.
It's enormous.
Just one of the thousands across Tau.
Yeah.
The pride of Hotari.
That's a lot of dollars.
How do we get inside?
The structure that circles the mine has entry points for transporting equipment into the lower levels. They're guarded, but nothing I can't get past using my authority.
Well, that's good to hear.
As long as you can avoid being seen, I should be able to talk my way past any miner. And provide a little distraction for you in the process.
How do I avoid being seen?
That mission.
You don't use the door. How dare you! Don't you know who I am? I am Tylus Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
That's not...
The Queen would be furious to hear you tried to deny me entry.
The Queen? But I just...
You just what? Just now realize the trouble you've made for yourself? And who exactly do you think you're going to report this to? Because I'll be reporting it as well, to someone much further up the ladder. You have no authority here. Do you understand who pays your wage? I can inform the Queen directly of this instance.
There's no
You'll
need
regret
for...
everything you've said here today. You should have opened the doors the second I appeared before you.
That's not the protocol. I didn't know...
Each second you delay my entry will be recorded, processed, and permanently marked on your record. Can't believe this. Does your brain function? Do you speak our tongue?
Minister, I have orders.
How could a fellow Hotari not understand this? You're digging your own grave. I've reached the end of my patience. Escort me to the maintenance bay.
I told you I can't just...
Now!
But fine.
A wise choice. Lead the way, and be quick.
Someone takes their breaks up here. Maybe the same guard who left that window unlocked. I suppose the view is nice.
Is that all? Okay. Where are you supposed to be going? Let's see anything. Alright. What's that look like? That's interesting.
Okay. Let's get a look inside you.
Signal receiver that controls field deactivation. Right, and focusing the pattern on the force field. And where is the power? Red solid matter propulsion. Alright, complete scan.
Full system access. Let's see if I can just... Bingo.
Nice. I got the ultimate hacking machine. Took them that long to finish their conversation.
Better hurry. Not sure how long she can keep him busy.
It doesn't make any sense. Why couldn't you crouch with the tricorder?
Something in here is keeping that door closed.
DNA scan? Fire. Maybe we can fingerprint or something. Radiation. Contains records of personnel with access to this facility. Alright, so we should be able to forge access.
Got it. Should remove the security check on the door.
Door. This door. Also a little bit awkward in this game.
I didn't come here to educate an imbecile on royal protocol.
Of course not, Minister.
So I will be about my business here, and you will take yourself out of my sight.
Hey.
There you are.
You really let that guy have it.
It worked, didn't it? I'm used to having to throw my weight around. Hard to get anyone to listen to you otherwise.
Gotta admit, I'm a little afraid of you now.
You're lucky we're on the same side.
I'd say so. The catwalks were booby-trapped.
Galvin and Sidron have gone to great lengths to keep out the uninvited. Well, we're inside. Where do you want to start?
The ionic interference is coming from below us. We need to go deeper.
That lift goes down, at least to the changeover station. But we can't use it without DNA authorization from one of the guards.
I have an idea, but we need a few samples of DNA from the miners who work here.
Samples?
Fingerprints, sweat, blood.
Which will trick the machine and get us control of the lift.
That's the theory. Let's test it.
Alright. What time is it? 11:30. I might call it this, especially since we're about to have some ads anyway. Alright. I'm enjoying this. It's been really good so far. I want to know if it is actually to con, or it just looks like it, but it definitely seems like it is, and that's kind of cool. All right, let's have a quick look to see who's streaming. See if there's anyone we can raid. Otherwise, no, nobody really that I know online at the moment. So we might just call it a night at the moment. Thanks everyone for dropping in and having a little watch. Yeah, really enjoying this, and I'll pick it up again sometime again soon. Here's Justin, Bogchicker, Steve. Thanks for hanging out. It's been yeah, it's been good. Well, catch you next time. See you everyone. Bye. What's it doing? Oh, it's giving the raid message. We're not raiding, but see ya.